While debates over the legitimacy of the election results continues, one factor remains consistent for half of Americans. President Donald Trump kept his promises. We took to the streets of the Big Apple to hear where New Yorkers stand on the administration's accomplishments. Take a listen.
Peace agreements in the Middle East were historic. Moving to Jerusalem, the capital, all these things. Lowering taxes, having the best economy on the face of the earth. I think like another 150 something, whatever. Border wall, he's continually tried to build a wall to protect American security, stop drug trafficking, everything. Come on. No opioids. The guy's just nonstop action. So I couldn't be happy with his accomplishments.
I would like to thank Donald Trump the 4 years that he's given us. I feel that he was no nonsense. He put America first. I appreciate all the hard work that he's done with the border, with the tax cuts, with cutting regulations. The economy was awesome. The opportunities, even me and my family have definitely benefited from. It's a lot of the administration policies. Thank you for everything that you've done for minority groups. The money that you've given to the colleges, Black historic colleges, the prison reform. The list goes on and on and on. I thank you for putting America first. Your support for law enforcement, your support for pro-life, for not being afraid to say we're one nation under God. All those things that are the traditional conservative values that our nation was built on.
He restored our faith and our allies' faith in this country, our economy, our potential. I think that he kept all of his promises to the best of his ability while fighting people on both sides of the aisle. I think that we will never forget what he did for this country, even with all of the smear campaigns and misinformation and just unbridled hatred against him. I think it's a shame because really so many people in this country love him. They love him as a president. They love him as a person.
If you look at the economy, you look at jobs, and you look at the fact that he's the first president since Dwight Eisenhower that didn't involve us in a military conflict and send our boys overseas for some pointless entanglement. I think on those three scores alone, he scores the highest from any president, and certainly in my lifetime. And then the fact that he's nearly achieved peace in the Middle East, certainly made more strides than anybody has in 50 years. I don't see how you could fault him for anything. I think he's probably the greatest president, maybe with the exception of Reagan, certainly in my lifetime.
He believes in marriage equality and gay rights. He appointed Richard Grenell as head of U.S. intelligence. And the first ever, his assistant press secretary, Judd Deere, is openly gay. And I don't want to hear this crap about Biden appointing, Buttigieg. I couldn't even think of a stupid name. It's a stupid, as head of Department of Transportation. They said that's the first appointment. Yeah, lies again. All the media does is lie. Yep, anybody who believes the media needs a lobotomy because CNN, according to CNN, I don't exist. Yeah, I just don't exist. Gay people do not support Trump. Well, I'm here in the flesh to say, I love my president. Best president ever. And let me remind you, he is still our president.
The biggest accomplishment of Donald Trump in the last 4 years is his status as a trailblazer for conservatives and Republicans in America. He showed everyone how to fight. Now, he may not have been the one to get the entire MAGA agenda implemented, but he showed us how to go against the corrupt media, the corrupt establishment, and our corrupt institutions that need to be either dismantled or reconfigured. I think the best thing he did for the country was reorient the foreign policy towards China and reorient our foreign policy into ending some of these forever wars in the Middle East, bringing home our troops from Afghanistan and from Iraq. I mean, these are places that empires go to die, and I think Donald Trump understands that.
He's done so much for this country. I think he's done more than any president since Ronald Reagan. He's, just like his book, The Art of the Deal, he's making all the countries that have deals with us pay their fair share. He's making an even playing field. The smartest thing he ever said was at his inauguration, America first. You got to put the citizens first before you help other people. helping people in other countries is good, but you should be helping your own people first. You're going to help your family first before bringing in strangers to help them. It's just natural. It shouldn't be any question. I think this is all a big political scheme by the other side to hurt him personally and his supporters.
Well, him auditing the Fed, him draining the swamp, him building a wall, him going after China, those are the things that we voted him in on. And the Democrats and the Republicans in the House and the Senate will not let him get any of his stuff done because he is such an outsider. They won't let any of his policies in. He loves this country. He believes in the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Unfortunately, our policy people in the House and the Senate do not have his same values of 1776. They should look at Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and our founders as a benefit. And that's how Donald Trump thinks.
And he's not afraid to say what's on his mind. Also, he understands how economy works. You cannot just take money from the rich and spread it or just print the money.
He's done basically what he said he was going to do. And that's what I like. It's unusual for a politician to say what you're going to do and do what. I think that he's been a good president. The country hasn't given him credit for it, but he has done what he said. I appreciate what he's done, and I feel bad that the country can't see it.
A lot of people my friends had prejudice about Trump, and then we started looking up what he did the first 6 months, what he did the first year, how the House takes credit for prison reform that hasn't been done never done. And he got together and they said, bipartisan. Nancy Pelosi said bipartisan. No, it was not. That was Trump's idea. That was the Republicans behind him. Actions speak louder than words. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans believed all that fake news, and that's sad because they're not journalism. He reports his story. He gets his facts straight. All they ever did was accuse you because they're haters, and I'm sorry about that.
President Trump did accomplish some good things in foreign policy. We saw some treaties in the Middle East that, quite frankly, I never thought would happen in my lifetime.
I believe God used him to make also peace with the countries that were against this country, that were going to bomb this country, and people used to tell me off about him and nasty about him. I said, no, he's doing a good work, and I loved everything good that he did. So I'm just praying for him, that with the Lord's hand, mighty hand touch him, that he sees that he did something already, and it's time to move on.
I think he did some good things, like for the HBCUs, he gave funding, federal funding. What else? Oh, the First Step Act, with taking the minorities out of jail. The last president, he didn't really support them as much as Trump does. So it's gonna be sad to see him go, but
Legal immigration, not illegal immigration. I want controlled immigration. I support the police. I want law and order. I want everybody to respect each other.
It was great for the economy. He was great for the American worker. He was great for the military. He was great for America. I'm a homeowner, okay? And it would pretty much suck if I worked hard my whole life to buy a house and then they told me I couldn't put a fence around my backyard so that strangers couldn't come and jump in my swimming pool. And that's basically the same thing. So I don't know why, they turned that into a racial issue, him wanting to put a border on the wall so that, terrorists and drug dealers and smugglers and, break the law. So like I said, I think he's the best that we've had as long as I've been alive.
If we let the wrong thing happen on the 21st, I'm gonna put this on because I have to. If he was still going on, we won't have this stuff going on. His policies were for America, not for other countries, not for other people, not for other nations that are not caring about us. They want to see us go down, but I'm proud that I put my vote for Trump. I don't care who don't like me. They don't like me, they don't like America.
Our government is so fractured because of he's in there now, and then the Democrats get in, and they're going to take everything that he did apart, and it just goes back and forth. I like the the way he was dealing with China and the embargoes and stuff like that, and I just like the fact that he was just trying to get more American jobs back.
I think he's performed, and I think he's done a real good job for the country. The only thing is that, like I said, it's just a shame what's happening. I think the both parties should come and think about us.
He did a tremendous work over there to bring peace to the world, and the Jewish community and the whole community that's seeking peace is very, very appreciative of the work that he did.
The list goes on, and there's so many with the peace in the Middle East and how he negotiated Kim Jong in North Korea and say, hey, little rocket man, and say, hey, he got on the phone. He said, look, I'm about to fly over Singapore. I'm going to stop in and holler at you. And stepped over the 38th parallel. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on and on. And I tell you, that right there. Sometimes, I always said, sometimes you don't really appreciate someone until they're not there or they're not in that. And I will say this to all One American News viewers. Sometimes just because you don't have a quote title doesn't mean you're not going to be able to lead or to be able to serve your great nation or to serve your community. I mean, yes, titles are great to some fashion. However, it's not necessarily the truth. So I see and I know that this movement, I call it the movement, the greatest American movement almost in the history of the United States. We're going to continue this great movement, America First, made in the USA, by USA, and we're going to continue this path. It's not going to go away. So stay tuned. Like he always says, the best is yet to come.
One of the greatest things this president did was he taught all of us how to fight for our freedom again, that we are the voice to stand up and say no more when the liberals and the socialists and the Marxists try to take that freedom away. It's this president that reminded us that we are only as strong as we decide to be. And he invigorated our party to move forward. He taught conservatives and Trump supporters at that to be an American is something to be proud of. I'm amazed at what he did to help our military, how he brought Middle East peace agreements, how we had the record low unemployment rates between all Americans, African Americans, Latino Americans, women, veterans, and Asian Americans. Everybody prospered under this president. He's going to be missed, but he's not going away. I expect that he is going to be right over there rooting us on to continue his legacy.
When you look back 4 years ago, we really were forgotten. We didn't really know what it felt like to be fought for, to have a voice. And that's what the president has done for all of us. And the policies that he's done, I mean, yes, they're written on paper, but when you look at the stories, I mean, stories like me, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for President Trump. And I mean, you look at even the last year with coronavirus, the millions of people that wouldn't be alive today, that wouldn't have jobs. I mean, this is the story of his presidency. We are the story of his presidency. We are the America he made strong, proud, and great again. That legacy isn't going anywhere. I mean, we're not going anywhere. It's just going to get stronger and greater as time goes on because he didn't forget about us. I mean, I'll never forget when he promised, I'll never let you down. He never did let us down. I mean, when you look at the politicians, even in the last few weeks that have let down the people, the president never has because he only cared about us. I mean, he loved us. That's why he ran. He never let us down, and we're never going to let him down because we know what it is now to be fought for, to have a voice. And even as the times change, it's like we're stronger. There's 75 million more of us now than there were before. And it's like, yeah, times may get tougher, but we're tougher because he's shown us what it is. So I think his legacy going forward, we're the legacy. Yes, it's policies. Yes, there's things you can point to when you look at the peace that he brought to the Middle East, when you look at what he did for the economy, but we really are his legacy going forward. And let's not talk about him in the past tense because there is nothing past tense about Donald Trump. He's not going anywhere, and we aren't going anywhere either.
I believe President Trump was the most proactive president for Black people in American history, or at least in my lifetime, but I want to amend that statement. He's not the most proactive president for Blacks in my lifetime. He's the most proactive president for Americans in my lifetime. He's the most pro-American president that I've ever had the pleasure of living under. I wish him nothing but success. History will be much, much kinder to him than this fake news left-wing media is now. And to be quite honest, Donald Trump is going to be missed. And he's already being missed as we speak. He made a great impact on this country, the effects of which will resonate in this country for a long time.
Building the wall and restoring the faith of those who want border security. He was also very active in making sure around the country that America was first. And at the same time, he stood up to those foreign country and their leaders saying, hey, you're going to pay your fair share. We appreciate that and valuing him putting America first. But, you know, when you look at the job market, prior to the pandemic, this president with his tax cut put this economy on steroids and broke many, many records in terms of economy and job creation. Not to mention what this president has done for the African-American community, but so many communities, but certainly when you look at what he did with historical black colleges, writing into law the funding, there are 48 different colleges who are benefiting from that. When you look at what he has done with opportunity zone districts, going in those areas that were devastated by the lack of leadership from Democrats who were in charge. And at the same time, when you look at what he's done, and he had taken the leadership on prison reform, where those in the past, including Joe Biden and others, sought out to really destroy an entire African-American generation through mass incarceration. This president believed in a second chance. And many of those who were released were many of them were the same recipients of a lot of those jobs. And so whether you're a veteran, you're in the military, whether you are looking to expand your business or create a business, this president has been very, very active, and he has a lifelong legacy. There are so many more things that he's done, but I like the fact he drained the swamp, at least a big portion of them.
I would say for me, his number one accomplishment was moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's rightful capital. And then there's so many other accomplishments, securing our border, actually building, I think it's like 432 miles of border wall to protect American citizens from illegal immigrants, not just illegal immigrants, but criminals, drugs coming across our border, terrorists coming across our border. We're not a nation without borders, and thank God for President Trump for making that a serious issue. But I think one that cannot be overstated enough is his willingness to act on behalf of all Americans and the world, really, when it comes to COVID-19, and his administration's just swift action on getting a vaccine for everyone.
You know your guy down here, Bruce Lavelle. I'm always with you. We're thick and thin. We're going to stay with you in the movement. We're still going to work together. I'm not going to and by the way, if you're trying to go away, we're not going to let you go away. We're still in this to win this. So, and when I say win this, meaning win this for America, for the people, by the people.
President Trump, I'm so grateful for everything that you did for this country. You scared the liberals like no other president ever has, and that's powerful. I believe that with you, we will continue to move forward. We don't want to see you go away. We need you to lead from the front like you always have, because I've always believed lead, follow, or get out of the way. And you're definitely somebody that we can follow and change this country for the better for all Americans.
Thank you, Mr. President. I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. And I know that there's a lot of Americans out here. You might not get to see us as much, but we're all out there. I mean, there's 75 million of us who look at our stories of the last 4 years. And with you and our stories, it made all the difference. And so, yes, we're going to miss you a lot where you are now, but we're still here for you just as you've been there for us. We're not going anywhere. Stay strong. We love you.
Mr. President, here's what you do. Rest up, chill out, and come back stronger in 2024. We want you and we need you. America needs you. Don't give up the fight. We're right there with you. I got your back, got your side. I'm out there in front for you as well. But chill out for a little bit, get some rest, play a little golf, You deserve a break. Take a vacation and then come back and finish the work that you've started.
I'm President Trump. I'm on your team, and I'm willing to help you out in your future endeavors as well as his family. So I'm looking forward to that.
We appreciate him. There's certainly a role for him. I know he's going to be known for generations to come, and more young Trumps are coming along the way, whether it's his daughter, his son, or grandchildren who love this country. And that's a big thing about this president, Jen. President Trump loves America, and he loves the American people.
We definitely want to thank him for all the tremendous work that he did, and we're very, very appreciative.
And thank you for your service. Donald Trump, Latinos do vote for you in the urban city and in New York. Don't believe CNN.
I thank you. I know I thank you for half of us already, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Donald Trump. And Melania and your entire family. May you be safe and God bless you. We'll keep you in prayer.
We will never forget what you did for this country, Mr. Trump, and we love you, and God bless you.
Sir, you have done such great things for this country. You improved our economy. You helped minority people, marginalized people. You are a good man. Don't let these people in Congress and the Senate ever tell you that you haven't done a great job, because you have done a fantastic job. We will miss you. This country doesn't deserve a great man like you. You are too good for this country.
Well, President Trump, from me to you, thank you for the stimulus check. Thank you for what you did with the war. Thank you for what you did with the people that were trying to destroy this nation. And I just asked you to just think about that you did a lot of good things in a short period of time, and a man not knowing anything in politics and stuff. And we're grateful to you. We love you.
Donald, we love you. Keep up the good work. Keep up the fight. We will never forget what you did for this country. You will never die in our hearts. You will never be done being our president. And I hope that one day I can continue fighting by your side, even though you may not be in office anymore.
Stay strong. You know who your friends are. You know who your allies are. And everything with everybody against you is just a selfish game for their own personal gain.
I wish there was another 4 years, because it's going to be another 20 years until we get another outsider like him to fix all the corruptness in Washington that started with Ronald Reagan.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the 4 years. Good luck on the rest of your life.
President Trump, you did an excellent job. I know that you didn't get much sleep in that, but there's many of us Americans that we're proud of you.
I want you to know that no matter what the Democrats try to do to you, you've truly been a president of the people. With the manufacturing, bringing jobs back to the U.S.
Good luck. Yeah, and your wife is hot.
Well, Trump's taking those regulations off the backs of those corporations. Sounds like a good idea to me. Trump's gonna build a wall. That wall's gonna protect us all. Sounds like a good idea to me. He got the economy moving again with lower taxes for you, my friend. Sounds like a good idea, and I could go on all day. So Donald Trump, since the time he came down the escalator, I was driving over the Queensboro Bridge coming to work as normal. I went to Trump Tower that day. I went there every single day until we went. I did the inauguration. I've been a big Trump supporter ever since. So I'm from Ohio, a red state, so love Donald Trump. Best wishes if you actually have to leave. We'll see. I know, we still got it.
For this White House correspondent, it has been a pleasure and an honor to cover the 45th president. And I'm thankful to One America News for providing the opportunity to do so in a fair and unbiased way. I will remember fondly the many rallies that we covered, from Phoenix, Arizona to Rochester, Minnesota, Butler, Pennsylvania to Macon, Georgia, and beyond. Up in the air and on the road, sometimes nearly missing our flights, and barely keeping up with a team that was so focused on winning that sleeping was never an option for any of us. Our team at One America News has taken pride in bringing countless hours of presidential coverage to you live and without interruption by commercials or commentators. From the everyday American to those who know the president on personal and professional levels, looking back on the past 4 years, they remember a man who was anything but a politician, a president who gave a voice to the forgotten, and who they say worked tirelessly to improve the lives of all Americans. President Trump built a base of MAGA loyalists, and it doesn't appear the movement will fade amid a transition in the so-called D.C. swamp that he set out to drain.